Hi everyone and welcome. My name's Laurel. Let's improve ourselves together. Today's video is about setting goals any time of year and moving forward with a purpose. I've been in a bit of a winter rut, feeling a bit lazy and unhealthy lately. It's winter down in the southern hemisphere at the moment. So with spring on the way, it's time to freshen up, set some goals and get my A into G, or ass into gear. Let's go. Firstly, I wanted to say that you don't have to wait until New Year's or Monday or whenever to set goals and, you know, move forward with some purpose at any time. I know we always like to, I'll do that tomorrow, but you don't get anywhere that way. So let's do it now. The more we are reevaluating and looking at our goals and checking that we're on the right path, the better. You know, it's not just a once a year thing, it's a constant thing. And just because you've set a New Year's resolution at the start of the year doesn't mean that can't change partway through. My 5 steps for goal planning, let's go. Right, step 1, get in the zone. Find some time, ideally by yourself. Maybe it's on a weekend or in the evening after work one day where, you know, you're not going to be disturbed by anyone and you can just create a nice relaxing environment for yourself. You've got to be in the right kind of mindset and zone to be able to set your goals, I think, and be relaxed. So maybe plan to, you know, if it's after work, you can have a bit of a pamper evening, get yourself feeling good, cook yourself a nice dinner or whatever, light a candle, sit down with a glass of wine even, and your little notebook, and make that your activity for the evening. This morning I had a shower. I went and tinted my eyebrows, which is something I've been meaning to do for a while. Put some music on. I've got my incense going. So we've got a nice cozy little vibe going and ready to sit down and do some planning. Step number 2, keep it simple. Oh my gosh. I know we all love Pinterest and we like to see these fancy planners and things that you can get, and definitely if you're into that and you've got time, do that. Plan ahead and get that ready, but don't let it delay setting your goals, because everything's got to be perfect and you've got to create your mood board and print out your planner and have your fancy pen. Like, just grab any old paper and pen. I've got my little notebook here ready to go. I've got a highlighter. This is my only fancy pen. It's not even fancy in the house. I don't have any glitter gel pens or anything, so that's what's making it fancy today. And just write down some goals. You can always rewrite it later and make it look pretty and create your little mood board when you've got time, but just get something down on paper, and then at least that part is done and you've got it in your head what you want to do. I also recommend, once you've written your goals, to put them up somewhere. Put them somewhere you're going to see them every day. Don't just write them in a journal and then you put the journal away and then you sort of just forget that they even existed. I like to put mine up on my mirror that I get ready in front of every morning. That means that they're there, I read them, I remember that they exist and what, you know, I'd planned to do. And I feel like once it's in your head all the time, if you're into any of this sort of positive mindset and creating your future life through, you know, mindset and everything, then you'll kind of get that you need to be seeing it all the time, reminding yourself, having it in your mind that it's going to happen, and then hopefully it will. You could also maybe put it on your fridge, but just keep in mind, in more public spaces like that, like if guests come over, they can see it. So if you don't want them to see it, maybe pop it somewhere that's a little bit more private, but that you're still going to see it. On my mirror I also have little motivational tidbits from Pinterest just stuck around it as well, just for like a little bit of motivation and a reminder of, you know, to stay motivated and, you know, be on this path basically. Right, step number 3. It's the good stuff now. What do you want or not want?
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
So think about now, what do you want to achieve in the next 3, 6, 12 months? Sometimes if, you're a bit stuck on that question, is what do you not want? So sometimes it's better to think about, or it's a good starting point to think about what you don't want for your future moving forward, and then you can kind of figure out what steps you might need to take to not get to that point, and then you can figure out what you do want. So an example might be that you know that you don't want to be stuck in your, office 9 to 5 every day. So what are you going to do? Well, the only way to get out of that situation is either, change your role within your company if you can, or maybe change your job entirely if that's an option. Looking at those types of things, and then what steps do you have to take to be able to do that? Is it as simple as just finding a different job, or do you want to do something else? Do you want to start your own business? All these types of things. So sometimes thinking about just what you don't want at the moment in your current reality, and then figuring out, what steps you can do from there. Oh, you can meet my cat Lucy. She's come to sit all over my papers. There's Lucy. Where's... She's only got one eye, and she doesn't like cuddles much. Spice? Come on in. Right, back to it. Be realistic with what you want to achieve as well. Don't set the bar too high for yourself. If you've got a really, really higher goal, break it down into steps, so you're not just putting the end goal in there and it just seems completely unreachable, or you're giving yourself a year to create this thing, which is probably going to take a bit longer than that. So it's good to cat fluff. It's good to break it down and create small, realistic goals, and then you get the high from reaching those little goals, and you feel like you're actually getting somewhere, and you're ticking them off, and it's feeling really good. Because if you just put that end goal in there, even though you're doing all these steps to get there, it's still, if you don't quite get there, then you feel like you've failed, So break it up, be kind to yourself, do small steps, small achievable steps. And then once you reach that one, then you can always, like we say, revise your goals and add the next step in there. If you're smashing them out, that's great, and just keep adding more goals. Like, it's not like these are just stuck like that for the next year and you can't edit them, If you're like me and you do set goals, at least New Year's resolutions every now and then, sometimes looking back at what you've had in the past as goals can be good inspiration for your next goals. Like, quite often, it's not very often that we all tick off every single one of our goals that we've ever set. So look back at some old goals and maybe you can put them on this list again to have another go at achieving them, or change them up a little bit. So for example, the goals that were on my mirror still were 2020 goals, because I obviously made these before shit hit the fan in 2020, and then it kind of all just went out the window because we didn't know what was happening. And because the world's been all over the place since then, I haven't refreshed them. So this is very, very topical to get into this. So 2020 goals, you probably can't see that well here, but I'll read them out to you. So, for example, my ones were: practice mindful eating and a healthier lifestyle involving food for fuel and portion reduction. Now this one isn't that specific, like how do I know when I've actually done it? There's not really a measurable thing, but I just wanted to put it on there as a reminder. I feel like I probably didn't do this one, especially through 2020, with lockdowns, and we were all like, oh fuck it, we're in survival mode and I'm just gonna eat and drink whatever I want. So there was a lot of mac and cheese and gin and tonics during lockdown for me, but that's fine, do what you need to do to get through. Number 2, I had create a habit of regularly exercising in the morning. I did a little bit of this, but yeah, no, definitely not. I've kind of come to the conclusion that the morning is not really a good time for me to exercise. It's just not my favorite. I'm not a morning person, and I just feel like when I exercise in the morning, I feel good for about 10 minutes, and then I just crash, and I feel like I need to go back to bed. So I think maybe like midday afternoon is a good time for me. Complete the Tongariro Crossing. So this is a volcano actually in New Zealand. So it's a mountain, and you can do a big walk sort of up and across it, and it's pretty hard out. So sorry about that, my memory card got full. Amateur mistake. Right, where was I? The big mountain, yes, that's right. So it's pretty hard out walk. Probably couldn't handle it in my current state, so I thought I'll pop it on my list, and it might encourage me to actually train and, you know, go for walks and stuff, and then I can do it. It is on my bucket list. I think the crater up there has actually been heating up a little bit recently, so I might leave that off my list for the minute, because yeah, I don't think I really want to go up there right now. Number 4 was set a date for our wedding, which we did, and we got married this year in March 2022, so here you go. We set the date, we planned it, we did it. Tick. Set aside more time for self-care, e.g. face mask, you know, massages, exfoliating, meditating, catching up with friends. I feel like with my change of job that I have probably achieved this. I haven't been going for regular massages, mostly because I didn't want to pay for them. And yeah, I could probably catch up with my friends more often, but not too bad on that one. Again, not that measurable. Like, really, it should be easy to tell whether you've achieved it or not. But it was just a bit of a reminder on there of what I wanted to do. Next one was quit my job. Technically I did, yes. Still with the same company, but completely changed into a different role. Now technically self-employed. So, tick. Did that. Read 3 books entirely. Now, I'm not a great reader. Well, I can sit down and read, but then I get really sleepy a few pages in, and then I just kind of leave it. Or I read a whole bunch really well, and then like halfway through the book I put it down and I forget about it and don't ever go back to it. So this year I have discovered Audible and audiobooks. And it's sort of like, does it count? I think it counts. I've listened to like 7 books on there. I got quite addicted. I'm waiting for my next credit to turn up so I can get another one. But it's great because you can listen to it when you're doing housework or when you're getting ready for the day or whatever. You don't have to be like sitting down and actually reading it, finding time to do that. I think this is a great way to smash them out, and it's quite addicting. And I also tried, before I thought when I had to read that I would have to, I read like self-help books and stuff, quite kind of serious stuff. And I was like, well, this time I'm just going to try listening to a book that's actually maybe just fictional stuff that I might be interested in. So that's what I did. And I've been reading like dark fantasy, romancy type stuff. Pretty filthy stuff, apparently. I feel like I'm in this whole new world of adult fiction. It's a new world. Holy moly. So yeah, that's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Highly recommend. And last one, get a tattoo. I did not get a tattoo, but it is still on my list. I think I'm going to add it to this year's list as well, because I still do want one. I just really struggle to commit to a design. I'm worried that I'm not going to like it in 5 years' time. Like you've got to really, I think, pick it well. So I'm still going to do that. Oh, and also because I changed job financially, it wasn't really a priority, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to put it on there again. You never know. Right. So that's my old goals. So I will be using some of these probably again, or rejigging them a bit, making them a bit more specific. And then, we can add on new ones of what we've thought of recently. Cool. Right. I also wanted to touch on weight-related goals. So you probably noticed on my list there was a few that were, health and exercising and sort of thing related, and the crossing one. I've pretty much had a weight loss goal on my New Year's resolution since I was a kid. So I've decided that I am not going to put on weight related goals anymore. I feel like it's just sort of, I don't know, to me anyway, for me mentally I think it's sort of unhealthy. There's always been like lose 10 kilos or lose 20 kilos or whatever, and I decided, well, you know, my 31 years I still haven't really ever ticked that one off my list, so maybe I need to change my tactic and just put on there more goals to do with that but aren't directly of that. So, you know, exercising goals, or, you know, creating a better relationship with food type goals, which means that, you know, you might lose 10 kilos, that'd be great, but if you don't feel like you've failed every single year with that, you know. If I'm just happy if I'm healthy and physically healthy, then I'm all good, you know. So just something to think about. I know for women, everyone's always talking about, oh, I want to lose X amount, you know, and it just gets a bit tired. And, you know, through your life, you're always going to have moments where things are going to fluctuate. So don't beat yourself up about it. It's fine. Just do what you want to do. Far out. Make your goals as specific as you can so that you know when you've achieved them and you can tick them off. It's set time frames for them if you want to. I want to do such and such by such and such, but make sure that the time frame's actually realistic and it's not like, I'm going to lose 20 kilos in like a month. You know, like, at least you do some pretty serious stuff. That's not going to happen. So, you know, be realistic, set the time frames, but, you know, maybe just push them out a little bit so you've got that extra time. You never know what's going to happen in your life. That means that you're not going to be on the ball the whole time. So just be nice and push it out a bit. And if you do it early, great, you'll feel awesome because it's early. And also, you know, I try not to put too many on my list. I mean, you can have your list as long as you want, but it can get a bit overwhelming. So I usually try to stick to, you know, maybe 6, around there, just so you've got the main points you want to focus on. Obviously, if there's other stuff you want to do in life, then go and do it, but probably just pick a handful of items that you really, really want to achieve. Don't make it like 50 points long and then you're never going to remember what all those things are. Right, so feel free to pause the video here if you are ready with your pen and paper and ready to write down your goals. Pause it here and we'll just get those down and then continue on with the rest. Right, so I have written down my goals. I've got 6 points there at the moment. If I think of any more, I might add another one, but we'll see. They're not fancy at all, and I even stuffed up on one of the words, which really bugs me. Don't you hate that? Not flash, but it works. If one day I feel like jazzing it up, making it looking pretty with pictures and stuff, I could do that. But for now, this is going on my mirror. The intent's there. I'm clear on what I want to do. I've got a bit of a mix in there, obviously some YouTube related goals, as well as like finishing the renovations on our house. I've put get a tattoo back on there, see if that happens. Plan another international trip. So before COVID we travelled a lot, and I really, really miss it. So, you know, depending how our finances are and the state of the world, I really, really want to do another trip. Next one might have been Japan, which would be really cool. So that's on there. Hopefully it comes true. And a couple of like health and fitness related ones. So a little bit of a mix. Not not too out of reach, I don't think, but some of the daily habit stuff is what I always struggle with. I'm really not a habit, a really strict routine type person. So we will see. We will see. Step number 4. Believe it. So once you've got your goals written down and you're happy with them, read over them, believe it, feel it like it's actually going to happen and you can actually do this. The positive mindset, I think, is so powerful, and there's so many, you know, teachings out there these days about mindset and the power of the mind and believing what you want in life and, you know, the law of attraction or whatever, that it's actually going to happen if you think about it enough, basically. That's not what it is, but yeah. Think about it and you believe it, then you're more likely to believe in yourself that you can actually do that thing and you're going to make it happen. And the universe will be kind to you, hopefully, and make it happen as well. So read over them, get it in your head, put them up somewhere that you can see them every day, believe it's going to happen, stay positive, don't beat yourself up. It'll be fine. It'll work out in the end. And step number 5 is be kind to yourself. It's okay if you don't do everything on your list in the time frame you said you were going to. I mean, you see my old list there, I only did about half of it, but that's okay. I still thought about it. It was still an intention of mine. I might have done some of them partially, but I didn't do, you know, tick them off. That's okay. You're still progressing. Any progress is good progress. And as long as you're still in the mindset of change and wanting to do something different and change your reality, then it's still going to happen. It might just be a little bit slower or go a slightly different path to what you'd sort of planned. That's okay. Just put it on your list for next time, or change up the goal a little bit to make it more achievable for you. And just always review it. You know, if you're partway through the year and you think that item isn't really working out, there's something you could change it. You know, it's not set in stone. You're not a failure if you don't do your New Year's resolutions. Like, there's a lot of pressure around it. You know, the start of the year, everyone starts off with a hiss and a roar and the gyms are full and everyone's all productive, and then throughout the year it's just a steady decline of motivation, and then people think, oh well, I've stuffed that up already, so you know, I failed and who cares, and we'll just give up on that idea now. You know, be nice to yourself, it'll be fine. You know, you will get there. It's okay. Right, so I really hope that you have got something out of this today. I know a lot of it is probably sort of basic stuff that we all knew, but sometimes it's nice to hear it again, and really just a bit of a reminder to make that time to sit down, get them written out, and once they're done, then they're done. You can move forward. So go forth with your goals in mind. Do small things every day to make them happen, and don't be afraid to review them, change them as your life progresses and things happen. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'd much appreciate it. And yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!